Hello, everybody. This is Andy, and welcome to episode 11 of Celestial Journey. As you can see over here, I've cleared out a lot more area. I did leave this little chunk kind of messed up because I didn't want to destroy too much further back, and I'm not going to get here for a while, so I'll fix that later. I'm sorry if it annoys you. I only have, issues with things not being symmetrical sometimes, and it makes no sense when it actually happens. So, sorry if you're someone who has issues with that all the times. I've let some mana build up in here. We can check with this wand. So we almost have a full 3 pools. We have, what is it? 2.25, essentially, mana pools right there for our use, and we're definitely going to use them. I did craft up some stuff in order to make these runes. I made the inscription tools. They're really easy to make. It just takes a lot of crafting steps. So I went ahead and made some by hand. And I set up a couple more spawners. And I turned them off because they're incredibly loud. I guess the Cyclopses are still spawning, so there's some noise. But I'm also spawning blitzes now, which gives you niter and some blitz rods. I haven't spawned that many yet, and I used a bunch of the stuff, so we don't have a big excess yet. But we're also spawning the Eden Cadlions to get Wildwood Souls and Magic Meat. This is kind of useless, but the Wildwood Souls are going to come in handy very, very soon. So let's go ahead and let those guys spawn, and I can actually get rid of these. I don't need these anymore, and we can go back to the base. All right, and it's going to take a second to get the job done, but we've got other stuff that we can work on in the time being. But I've put all the patterns in to make the runic altar. The only thing we don't have is we don't have, there are resonant tanks right here. These I have to make manually at the moment. We will probably eventually automate tank upgrading, but for now, I only need one of these altars. And yeah, lots of alloys going into this. So let's look at some of these other things. The Rune of Mana, incredibly easy. This one, we need cotton seed. I need Eris, which actually takes gas tiers, and I only had a couple of gas tiers to get myself done. I'm entirely out now. We need specifically wildwood leaves. I'll probably just go harvest a bunch of those. And feathers we should have from our mob farm. Let's get all the seeds and stuff done. Netherwort and bone meal bag. Interesting. Sugar canes. How do I want to... Ooh, I can do this kind of sugar cane. Okay, I should probably do that as well. Let's put that in there as well. Okay, so we need another farming station. Good thing I made one. And we can set this up probably just directly next to our current one. And since we have that spare nether star, I think this... Ooh, a lag spike. I think this unbreakable wand will be a good investment. I'll want one eventually. And I need way more dirt than I just had. And I don't even know if this is going to fill it in all the way, but I will do my best. Yeah, just a same old 15 by 15 plot, and I'll probably add the cobblestone around the outside just to make it look like moderately okay. And same as before, we need unbreakable mattock and axe. There is the mattock, and here is the axe. They don't have to be fast. Once again, they just have to be unbreakable. So mattock goes there, axe goes there. We don't need shears, I don't think, because we don't want to shear anything. Yep. Hey, get away from me. Skeletons are just straight up snipers in this pack. They see you from a million miles away and will hunt you down. Okay, so this thing should hoe its own land. It should chop its own trees. And it should just be good. We want to give it cotton, which we have 2 of. How wonderful. Ooh, eat. Wait. I thought that turned into the seed. Apparently not. And we want... How do you get the seed, actually? Huh. Okay. I'm seeing a slight issue here. Cotton seeds don't drop when you grow cotton. They drop in the phytogenic insulator because everything has a chance to drop itself in the phytogenic insulator, or drop a double of itself. these can't be turned back into seeds. So I don't know what we're supposed to do here. I might go around and collect just a little bit of cotton, or maybe we'll literally have to bone meal the ground and then break it. That could be an option, because this does drop cotton seeds. I'm almost certain of it. But, like, okay, so they're an incredibly rare drop from actually breaking grass. I got an extra seed, but I think I have an idea. Let's go home and I'll test it. So what I'm thinking is something along the lines of this. We have a seed here. Apparently it can't grow because it needs a torch. There we go. It will grow up, and once it grows up, this will stay grown for forever. It's a little slow because it doesn't have that many sprinklers affecting it. Let's actually, just for demonstration purposes, move it towards the center. So what we'll have is this seed here. It will grow quickly. It will then spread here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And then what I'll do is I'll have a block breaker breaking this and then placing the crop sticks back down. So we'll be gaining cotton seeds and not really losing any product. The issue at the moment is actually that I won't know when the seed is grown. Redstone does not work to detect inside crop sticks. I think you can detect whether there is a seed or isn't a seed. Wait, no, that does work. You can't detect when a seed is grown. Maybe you can detect the block update, but then I would have to do a double crop stick, and that sounds terrible. Yeah, okay. For now, I'm just gonna let this guy spread all the way out throughout this field. I'll collect all of the cotton seeds, and that will be enough to make our first few runes. And essentially what I'm thinking is once we have our first few runes, once we can set up automations for most of the blood magic stuff that is like passive, and we can get more into agricraft and get a what is it? Time? No. The imaginary time block, which we're not actually too far away. We need to get to the Elven Gateway core, which isn't that bad. It isn't. Okay, we have a long ways to go, but it's not that bad. It's doable. Okay, we have a long ways to go. Jeez. Okay. But yeah. Essentially, eventually we'll get there. But for now, I'm just gonna grab a couple dozen seeds and we'll craft up our first few runes. By now, our runic altar has finished up crafting. We can place it right there. Probably just link it up just to make sure we're not gonna, run into problems down the line. And I think we're at the point where we can make our first couple of runes. Aqua Ball, Kraken Skin. That's just a bunch of ink sacs. And guess how we get ink sacs? The dye. Oh, no, not there. The dye. Okay, so we... I have another thing to do. Let's do that first. We need to drop these bad boys down, put some TNT down, and cause an explosion. Let's make sure these chunks are claimed. They were not. Good thing I checked, or I would have just blown some stuff up. And here we go. Making the quantum entangled singularities. Perfect. And we're going to make another quantum link chamber right next to our first in order to get to the agricraft auto farm area, or like I guess just our farming area, because we need to have access to our ME system over there eventually, because that's where we're gonna store most of our stuff on site over there. We're not gonna teleport it back to the base or something. And what else was I doing? Oh yes, the conduits. We need to connect them up here, and there we go. Alright, let's make our first rune. We're going to do the Rune of Mana first. That's Mana Pearl, Mana Diamond, Mana Weave Cloth, 3 Mana Steel Ingots, and 3 Mana Steel Blocks. And it's going to shoot with the Mana Spreader onto here. It's a little slow, but it'll be alright. And I need some living rock as well. And once this finishes, we can just toss the living rock on top and whack it with my wand, which I seem to have put away. Okay, there we go. First rune, and it'll jump back onto the runic altar if you let it sit there, but it doesn't immediately jump back on. That is for automation purposes, I believe, so you don't mess things up. Okay, so next easiest, we also need a ton of vines, which is nature's essence, which can be made incredibly easily. Let's go ahead and make this. And there we go. The seed is crafting up, and it stole it from me. Nature seed, right there. Perfect. I can put that on eventually, or I can save that to go in eventually. I did go ahead and just grab a couple extra vines, so we can do this now. I'm sure I can make that frozen stone. Okay, let me gather these things up, and we'll craft. I'm not gonna lie, I don't enjoy these difficult to do rune recipes in any pack. They're just kind of bad and hard and annoying, I think. But we have our first few first few earth runes. The fire ones are also pretty simple, and the water ones, they're really not bad at all either. Alright, next up is the Rune of Water, Pufferfish, Fish Jerky, these guys. And I'm missing something. The Aqua Balls. I forgot to craft those. Aqua Ball. Just like that. And then give me another one, please. No slime balls. Congealed slime blocks. Either works, I guess, but I'll use these. My phone just buzzed. Sorry if you heard that. Second Aqua Ball, and start blasting. Perfect. I finished up my first craft of Runes of Water. However, I also think it's time to get a Resources Fisher up and running, just so I don't have to actually go and fish for pufferfish or kill the guardians or anything like that for him, because that's what I've been doing. What was I looking for? The Ender Energy Conduits. I need to run a line up to this bad boy. Bye-bye, Torch. You no longer exist. Bye-bye, Torch. You no longer exist. My place gets darker. But eventually we'll be getting the Peaceful module, which will mean we won't need to even, like, consider that mobs could spawn in this area. Which means, technically, I won't have to torch this place up anymore. However, I still probably will, just because being able to see at night is kind of cool. Okay, so this thing should... Oh, it's pretty fast. Every 3 seconds or so it gets something from the loot table. And what I'll probably do is I'll just supply this with a drawer wall that it can slowly fill up as it gathers things. Let me do that really quickly and I'll be right back. And here is the second water rune set. So we have 4 water runes and we have 4 earth runes. We just need fire and air, and this drawer system is set up slowly. I'll come check on it in a little bit for the slightly rarer items that can go into the loot table. And basically, once I have everything that I want from the fishing loot table in these drawers, I'll just set up a low priority trash can right along the conduit line on the same channel. Alright, once again, back at the runic altar, time for the... Nope, that is pinning. I need to press Q. I've only been playing this game for like 10 years, it's fine. And I'm missing. Oh my goodness. We are making the Rune of Fire now. What am I missing? Please leave me alone. It was literally in slot 1 of my hotbar. This guy. I missed with that guy. So, now we're crafting fire runes. And as they finish, yada yada yada. That's just how Botania is. We craft runes here. Bang, bam, and done. Time to start the second batch. And for the final rune, I've collected everything except for the concentrated cloud seed buckets. So since we're going to need many runes down the line, and we're eventually probably going to automate, or at least very close to automate this process, or background craft these runes, let's go ahead and set up cloud seed automation right now. I ordered capacitors. I already had them searched up as well. I also need vats, And on this side, I'm going to make stacks of anything that I need to grind down and then throw them in drawers. We want to be as efficient as possible with channels in this pack, unlike Omnifactory, because, you know, we can actually run out of them. In most other packs, or in a lot of other packs I've played recently, channels haven't been enabled, so we haven't had that issue. I'll make more stacks of like alloy smelters and other stuff we want to just, you know, background process along this side, and we can set up some automations over here. So we need a vat, just like that, and we'll supply the silver to it. And here we go. These couple of machines make me concentrated cloud seed. So first we have water going into a vat with pulverized silver that we're making over there, and some ice that we're producing all the way over there. And the next one, you throw that cloud seed into a vat with just the pulverized silver. So we're double dipping in here, but I think we're quite easily keeping up at the moment. And we're just about to fill up our backlog, it looks like. And then that gets shoved into here, and this interface will give buckets and get back concentrated cloud seeds when requested. So with that, I believe we have everything to make the runes of air. So we can get our first couple of those going. Runic altar is already made, and after we do this, I think we're well on our way to the terrestrial agglomeration plate, except we'd need power bases, which are obnoxious to make. And bam, there we go. We have our first four of each of the initial 4 mana runes, which is pretty cool. If I could remember how to type, we can see, well, we have the first 4 runes plus the Rune of Mana, which is actually used for some things in this pack. It's used not only in the terrestrial agglomeration plate, but it's used in these other runes. It's used for petals, the Rosa Arcana. It's used for the focus pouch, apparently. I don't know what this does, but it looks decently cool, considering it's got an ender pouch in it, and those are incredibly expensive. And now it's one of those times where I just need to go and put in a bunch of recipes for these 2 things. I might also throw an IMI interface right over here, just so I can have the items for the runes whenever I want to craft them, just shoved into a chest. So none of this is really hard. It's just recipes. Packed ice, that's literally just ice plus cryotheum. Easy peasy. We have tons of cryotheum. Cake is actually going to be the most obnoxious, probably. And these are easy. Ice stones we have. Yeah, let me throw those recipes into an enemy interface, and I'll be right back. And at this point, I have come to the conclusion that it's probably just literally going to be easier to trade for cakes than it is going to be to try to make them myself. Also, I'm going to keep an eye out for a whale, an ocean monument on the way, though I don't think there is one over here. Yeah, so I'm going to go find a villager, and I'm going to end his life. What is this? It is apparently an elder sea lantern, which I assume means something? No? It means nothing. Alright, since you last saw me, I found a farmer. He is now making cakes every time I give him emeralds, and we'll just store the cakes into this chest with the storage bus for the time being, because I don't have a huge supply of emeralds for the moment. Eventually this will get better. Maybe we can make the orchid once we have 1 billion manas and start auto-producing resources that way. It'd be kind of slow, but it would be pretty fun to set up. I've never set one of those up before. But I've also put in the recipes for all of the runes. I don't remember if this was done last time, but we are able to craft at least 1 of each of these 2. We need 1 more rune, the Rune of Autumn, and since actually, no, we're not going to do the Rune of Spring yet. That will come eventually. Rune of Autumn. There are a couple of weird things in here. We need metamorphic stones, and we need these 3 saplings. So let's set up the metamorphic stones first, because we need a flower called the Metamorphos. I have everything that we need to make that. We just have to go over to our petal apothecary, grab a bucket of water, and throw everything in. So it's 1 of these 4 flowers, those 2 runes, and some seeds. just like that. And perfect, we have the Metamorphosis. I need to actually, I don't know. I can't see like ranges of flowers, even if I have my wand out at the moment. I don't think, because I don't have like the lens, the not the hourglass, the I don't know, the monocle thing. This thing, the Manaseer monocle. In this pack, it's pretty expensive. I think it is a tweaked recipe. Yep, by Craft Tweaker too. But I should just be able to put this in my bauble slots on my where? My there, apparently. Ugh. I can't use my gluttony charm. Whatever, it just has to stay in my inventory. And now, if I hold my wand, I can see the range of these guys, which is great, because I want to check the range of this guy. And it's huge. Okay, that's kind of nice. I'm hearing a weird sound, and I think I'm realizing what that is. This thing is converting stuff down here into the stones. Okay, great. I'm gonna let it finish up doing its thing down there because I don't really care for it to work down there, but I want it to convert stuff up here. And then if I mine this, I will just get the Metamorphic Forest Stone. I think I'm gonna get not an autonomous user. What's it called? This is the guy I was looking for, the Mechanical Miner and the Mechanical User. Sorry, my brain is a little rotten. I've been very busy, to say the least, the last couple of days. So let's put a couple mechanical users down, and we'll put mechanical miners right here. I am going to want to get them Silk Touch books, but we'll deal with that in a second. I will go ahead and pin that just so I don't forget it. And we want to supply them with stone. So I want to put stone in here, and I need one more of these, and I need to item conduit up into the mechanical users, yeah. And I think we want to set these to place block, and that will mine the block. I think this thing, yeah, it transforms it fast enough that we don't have to worry about it. I am going to turn this to redstone active for the moment, turn this to place block, and also redstone on. Maybe sometimes it'll mine the stone and just we'll get stone back. That'll be perfectly fine, but I do want these to be silk touch. So let me make those books. Oh, and since I'm here, let me explain something else. There's this redstone system right here. I use this pool for all of my transforming needs. So if I want to make like mana steel from iron, what I do is I dump some iron ingots into this pool, and they get transformed. And this comparator detects the level of fullness of this, and since it is emitting probably a signal of 14 right now, because this thing is not full, maybe 13, it tells this, and this potentiometer is set to 15, which means if the pool is full, a signal will be let through this comparator and sent to this timer. When this timer gets a redstone signal, it turns off, and it turns off the dropper because the dropper is ticked by the timer. That might have been incredibly confusing, but if you understand redstone, hopefully I explained it like decently well. The system works, so I guess that's the most important part, isn't it? Alright, I got 2 Silk Touch books, but I think I'm going to remove one of the mechanical users and mechanical miner sets, because this thing transforms way faster than we'll ever be able to use this stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to have a drawer system, and that will hold the items. I'm not sure how we're going to filter like when the mechanism stops, but for now, we'll just let it kind of run continuously. Maybe I'll just continuously void if this thing doesn't use that much mana. But we'll see. I'm going to let this guy run for a moment, and hopefully, yep, we're starting to get the metamorphic stones. And I'm going to set up the drawer system right here. And as you can see, these things are populating over here. I know it's incredibly messy, but I wanted to save myself a little bit on the channel side of things, so I ran an item conduit over to this item conduit so we can just, have the things go in this drawer system. I'm going to upgrade them a couple of times. I think I'll do 4 times total, or 2 times total for a total of four upgrades. I don't know. Once again, I said my brain is not working. So those should be good. We can lock the drawers, and this thing appears to use borderline 0 mana, so I might just let this run forever and just void these drawers. I'll check on this later and make sure it's okay, but for now, this is just the way it's going to be. It's going to be forever until these things fill up anyways, so I think we'll be good. And another thing, in between like recording sessions of this episode, I added another 32 IMI interfaces and molecular assemblers, so we now have more patterns because I filled up my first couple. As you can see, there are only 32 molecular assemblers with free spots. Instead of properly automating the process right now, I just went ahead and grabbed some of each sapling. We have ghostwood, darkwood, and blood saplings can only be made in the blood altar from bloodwood saplings. And since we don't have access to the phytogenic insulator, I don't know how I'm going to automate these bloodwood saplings because they're the big trees that grow upside down in the nether. We'll figure that out eventually, but I'm just going to make 2 runes each right now. I do need to set in the pattern for the Rune of Autumn, and then we can order them up. So I'm going to order 2 runes of summer, and they'll get sent into the chest. 2 runes of autumn, and they will also get sent into the chest. And 2 runes of winter. And we're missing the earth rune because it's being used in a different craft. But this should be everything for one of the crafts, and I'm going to make sure this is the Rune of Autumn actually. 1 fire, 1 air, 1 spider eye, and perfect. There we go. I need some living wood as well to finish this thing off. And we're getting a lot of living rock. We're getting a lot of living rock and living wood. The automation is still, let's check. Yeah, we're still like 1/10 of the way full. So when those drawers fill up, there'll be like 80,000 of each in there, which is perfectly fine. So this should be done. Whack it, and we get all of our runes back. Perfect. I'm going to do the rest of them, and I'll be right back. All right, all of those runes are done, and let's go ahead and encode the recipe for the other 4 runes as well. I mean, no reason not to at this point, right? These are the tier 4 runes, which means they're the most, well, they're actually the cheapest of them all, because you get refunded your first 2 runes, and they just basically cost 2 blocks of mana diamonds. They also cost a ton of mana here, so I guess that's something, but I think I'm just gonna make up the runes we need for this, and we should be able to make our Ritual Diviner Dusk, like now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that until next time, because these runes are probably going to take me 20 minutes to craft because the mana spreader is really, really slow. So why don't we leave it off there and automate blood production next time and get better at runes and all that kind of stuff next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave a like or something. I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.